obviously I can only speak from personal experience, having gone to a very old-fashioned all-girls British boarding school. So I can really only talk about the advancements that are being made within the British schooling system. And what is already starting to happen is that, you know, more and more awareness is being brought into the equation from a much earlier age. So it's a lot less competitive, you know. Teachers and schools are really becoming aware of how harmful it can be, you know, to set people up in competition with each other. So a very typical thing in my school when I was younger, you know, we were divided into different categories of classes or sports teams, depending on whether we were good enough to be in the A team, the B team, the C team. And I think it went right down to F, you know. I was actually in F for the maths classes. But I do know that, yeah, of course there's a way. And really it's, you know, it's a case of the teachers being educated themselves, you know, on how you really need to get through to people at such a young age, and also learn, you know, it's really all about information, you know. These teachers are essentially like robots to an extent, you know. They're doing what they were taught to do, and they're not actually taking into account, you know, the effect and the psychology of it. So I think, yes, there is a way to start implementing this change and raising awareness and prevent people getting to this stage in adult life. But it really all starts with, you know, the teachers being educated themselves on, you know, what is the best way to encourage people to reach their full potential, you know. What methods can you use to really observe, you know? If a kid is clearly creative and really into art but useless at maths, well, don't push them so much to, you know, to define success by going to law school or going into investment banking, because they're not going to achieve, they're not going to succeed that way, you know? And it's really important, in order to keep kids motivated, to start letting them define their own definition of success, which means, you know, praising them, encouraging them when it comes to an interest of theirs, and not being so harsh. You know, a very typical thing in English boarding school is detention, you know. That still exists. That is basically punishing somebody for not behaving in a way that they've been taught to. Now, I'm not saying you should let them run riot, and obviously discipline is required. If you want to have 500 kids in one institution, you've got to make sure that, yes, there are rules to be followed. But when it comes to giving somebody detention because they failed a test, I don't think that's necessarily fair, you know? I mean, rather than punishing somebody for not showing up at a class, find out why they aren't showing up for that class. Like, find out what it is that makes them not want to go and deal with that. In big companies and big corporations today, you know, employees are always given incentives to work towards. And that's what I feel they should be doing with children. Not taking this hard approach of pushing them down this line that is the society's definition of success, and rather push them down the path that they choose to go down, and really try and help them to flourish and succeed in their own way, rather than beating them with a stick regarding what not is correct, what is or isn't correct.